Tua Tagovailoa. The name echoed throughout Hard Rock Stadium. The young quarterback from Hawaii had taken the league by storm. His arm, a cannon. His accuracy, pinpoint. His leadership, undeniable. Tua was the future of the Miami Dolphins. He had the talent, the charisma, and the swagger to lead this team to the promised land. But Tua was more than just a quarterback. He was a symbol of hope, a beacon of inspiration for a city starved for a championship. And on this Thursday night, all eyes were on Tua. The weight of the franchise, the expectations of a city rested squarely on his shoulders. The energy inside Hard Rock Stadium was electric. The air crackled with anticipation. Dolphins fans clad in aqua and orange roared with a ferocity that shook the very foundation of the stadium. This was their night, their moment. Across the field, the Bills faithful, a sea of red and blue, answered with a deafening roar of their own. They had traveled in droves, eager to silence the Dolphins and remind them who ruled the AFC East. The rivalry between these two teams was palpable. It hung thick in the air, a tangible force that fueled the intensity of the game. Every snap, every tackle, every pass was a battle. Neither team was willing to give an inch. The lights shone brightly on the perfectly manicured field. The smell of popcorn and hot dogs wafted through the air. The roar of the crowd was deafening. This was Thursday Night Football, and the Miami Dolphins were ready to put on a show. Tua Tagovailoa, cool and collected, took the field. He was in his element, the pressure only serving to sharpen his focus. This was his stage, and he was ready to command it. The Dolphins' offense took the field, the crowd erupting in a frenzy of cheers. This was it, the moment they had all been waiting for. The battle for AFC East supremacy was about to begin, and at the center of it all was Tua Tagovailoa, ready to lead his team to victory. The third quarter was winding down. The Dolphins, trailing by a touchdown, were driving. They needed a spark, a momentum shift. And as always, their hopes rested on the shoulders of their young quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa, facing intense pressure from the Bills' relentless defense, scrambled out of the pocket. He sprinted towards the sideline, eyes fixed on the first down marker. The clock was ticking. The first down was tantalizingly close, just a few more yards. Tua, fueled by adrenaline and determination, dove headfirst, stretching the ball towards the marker. The crowd held its breath, a collective gasp echoing throughout the stadium as Tua's body collided with the unforgiving turf. But it wasn't the turf that sent shockwaves through Hard Rock Stadium, it was the impact, the sickening thud of helmet meeting chest. Tua Tagovailoa, in his desperate lunge for the first down, had collided head-on with Bills safety Damar Hamlin. The force of the impact was jarring. Tua's head snapped back, his body twisting awkwardly as he crashed to the ground. The crowd, once a cacophony of cheers and jeers, fell silent. A hush fell over the stadium, the air thick with anticipation and dread. All eyes were on the fallen quarterback, his body sprawled out on the turf, eerily still. Seconds ticked by, each one an eternity. Players from both teams looked on with a mixture of concern and disbelief. The game, once the center of the universe, faded into insignificance. The only sound that could be heard was the frantic shouting of the Dolphins' medical staff as they rushed onto the field, their faces grim. The gravity of the situation was etched on their faces. The crowd, still stunned into silence, watched helplessly as the medical staff huddled around Tua, their movements a flurry of urgency. Every heart in the stadium skipped a beat, praying for a miracle. Section 4. A grim scene. Minutes stretched into an eternity as the medical staff worked feverishly on Tua. The stadium lights, once a beacon of excitement, now cast long, ominous shadows across the field. A hush fell over the crowd, the silence broken only by the muffled sobs of concerned fans. The game, the rivalry, the score, all of it faded into the background. All that mattered now was Tua's well-being. The stretcher, carrying the weight of a city's hopes and dreams, slowly made its way off the field, disappearing into the tunnel. Section 5. The Aftermath. The stadium, once a cauldron of noise and energy, was now shrouded in a heavy silence. The aftermath of the hit, the sight of Tua being carted off the field, had cast a pall over the game. The announcers, their voices hushed with concern, struggled to find the words to describe what had just transpired. The game resumed, but the heart had been ripped out of the contest. The Dolphins, their leader lost, their spirits crushed, fought valiantly, but ultimately fell to the Bills. But the final score was inconsequential. The only thing that mattered on this night was the uncertain fate of Tua Tagovailoa. His injury, a stark reminder of the fragility of the human body, hung heavy in the air. Section 1. A History of Hurt. The sight of Tua Tagovailoa motionless on the turf sent chills down the spines of football fans across the nation. It was a scene that was becoming all too familiar, a grim reminder of the fragility of even the toughest athletes. For Tua, this latest injury was just another chapter in a story marred by concussions. His journey from Hawaiian prodigy to NFL star had been paved with both triumph and tribulation. The talent, the arm, the leadership, they were all undeniable. But so too was his vulnerability to head injuries. The whispers had started early in his career, concerns about his durability, his ability to withstand the brutal punishment of the NFL. And as each concussion mounted, the whispers grew louder, the doubts more persistent. Section 2. The 2022 season. The 2022 season had been particularly brutal. Tua, showing flashes of brilliance, had led the Dolphins to a promising start. But then came the hits. The first one, a vicious blow that sent him sprawling to the turf, his body contorting at an unnatural angle. He had gotten up, shaken it off, and continued to play, but the damage had been done. The second concussion followed weeks later, another sickening blow that left him visibly dazed and disoriented. The whispers turned to shouts. Doctors, analysts, and former players alike questioned whether Tua should continue playing, expressing grave concerns about the long-term impact of repeated head trauma. Section 3. Doubts and Fears. The 2022 season ended with Tua sidelined, his future uncertain. The concussions had taken their toll, both physically and mentally. He had spent countless hours in doctors' offices, undergoing tests, seeking answers, and grappling with the very real possibility that his career, his dream, might be slipping away. The doubts crept in, insidious and relentless. Could he still play at a high level? Was he putting his long-term health at risk? Was it worth it? The fear was palpable, not just for Tua, but for his family, his friends, and his fans. They had witnessed firsthand the toll that concussions had taken on their beloved quarterback, and they feared for his future, both on and off the field. Section 4. Tua's Dilemma. The off-season was a time of reflection, of soul-searching. Tua, faced with a life-altering decision, sought counsel from those closest to him. His family, his faith, his love for the game, they all weighed heavily on his mind. He had dedicated his life to football, pouring his heart and soul into the pursuit of greatness. But now, faced with the very real possibility of permanent brain damage, he was forced to confront a harsh reality. The game he loved might not love him back. The decision to return was not an easy one. It was a leap of faith, a gamble with his future. But Tua, driven by an unwavering passion for the game and a deep-seated desire to prove his doubters wrong, chose to fight. Section 5. A career in jeopardy? He returned for the 2023 season, his body healed, his spirit renewed. He had worked tirelessly to improve his strength, his conditioning, and his mechanics, determined to minimize the risk of further injury. But the cloud of uncertainty remained, a constant reminder of the fragility of his career. Every hit, every tackle, every snap was a test, not just of his physical ability, but of his mental fortitude. The pressure was immense, the stakes higher than ever. Could he stay healthy? Could he silence the doubters? Could he fulfill his potential? The answers, like his future, remained elusive, shrouded in a veil of uncertainty. Only time would tell if Tua Tagovailoa could overcome the adversity, defy the odds, and cement his legacy as a legend in the making. Section 1. Shock and Support. The news of Tua Tagovailoa's latest concussion reverberated through the NFL community. The sight of him lying motionless on the turf, the eerie silence that enveloped Hard Rock Stadium, it all brought back a flood of emotions. Players, coaches, and fans took to social media, their messages a mix of shock, concern, and support. Teammates rallied around their fallen brother, offering words of encouragement and prayers. The Dolphins organization expressed their unwavering support for Tua. Section 2. A collective grimace. But amidst the messages of support, there was also a palpable sense of unease, a collective grimace that spread across the faces of those who had witnessed Tua's latest setback. The conversation quickly shifted from the immediate aftermath of the injury to the broader implications for Tua's career and the future of the Miami Dolphins. Analysts, many of whom had previously expressed concerns about Tua's durability and the long-term risks associated with repeated head trauma, renewed their calls for caution, urging the Dolphins to prioritize Tua's long-term health over short-term gains. The debate raged on, with some advocating for Tua to consider early retirement, while others maintained that he deserved the opportunity to continue playing as long as he was medically cleared and mentally prepared to do so. Perhaps the most poignant reaction came from Damar Hamlin, the Bills' safety who had been involved in the fateful collision with Tua. Hamlin, who had himself suffered a life-threatening cardiac arrest on the field just a year earlier, understood the physical and emotional toll such injuries could take on an athlete. He expressed his heartfelt concern for Tua, wishing him a speedy recovery and emphasizing the importance of prioritizing health over the game. Hamlin's words, imbued with empathy and understanding, served as a stark reminder of the human cost of this brutal sport. His message resonated deeply with players and fans alike, transcending the boundaries of team loyalty and highlighting the shared vulnerability that connected all those who stepped onto the gridiron. As the initial shock subsided, the calls for Tua to consider retirement grew louder. Former players, many of whom had experienced firsthand the debilitating long-term effects of concussions, urged Tua to prioritize his long-term health and well-being over the allure of continuing his NFL career. They spoke of the challenges of living with chronic headaches, memory loss, and emotional instability, the invisible scars that lingered long after the cheers of the crowd had faded. Their message was clear: football was just a game, and no amount of fame or fortune was worth jeopardizing one's health. While the decision ultimately rested with Tua and his family, the chorus of voices urging him to walk away served as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of repeated head trauma. The debate surrounding Tua's future became a microcosm of a larger conversation taking place within the NFL and beyond, a reckoning with the sport's inherent violence and the long-term health risks it posed to its players. In the midst of speculation, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel remained steadfast in his support for Tua. McDaniel emphasized that Tua's health and well-being were his top priority. He spoke of Tua's resilience and commitment to the team. McDaniel acknowledged the seriousness of Tua's injury and the need to proceed with caution. The Dolphins would follow medical guidance and not rush Tua back. McDaniel's words reflected the delicate balance of supporting Tua while protecting him. The silent epidemic. Tua's injury shone a harsh spotlight on concussions in contact sports. These invisible injuries can inflict lasting damage, affecting a player's career and quality of life. The medical community has raised serious concerns about the cumulative impact of repeated concussions. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, looms large over the discussion. Tua Tagovailoa, at 25, found himself at a crossroads, faced with a life-altering decision. Should he heed the warnings of doctors and family, prioritizing his long-term health, or listen to his heart, his competitive fire, his passion for the game? The decision was his alone, but the weight of it was immense. Walk away on his own terms, preserving his health, or continue chasing his dream. The NFL, facing mounting scrutiny and pressure to prioritize player safety, found itself walking a tightrope. On one side was the league's responsibility to protect its players, to implement rules and protocols that minimize the risk of head injuries, to provide comprehensive medical care and support to those who had been affected. On the other side was the NFL's bottom line, the billion-dollar industry built on the foundation of a violent and inherently risky sport. The league had made strides in recent years, introducing concussion protocols, penalizing helmet-to-helmet hits, and investing in research and education. However, critics argued that these measures were insufficient, that the league needed to do more to address the root causes of concussions, to change the culture of violence that permeated the game, and to provide long-term support to players whose lives had been forever altered by their time on the field. The NFL's handling of Tua Tagovailoa's case came under intense scrutiny, with many questioning whether the league's concussion protocols were adequate and whether the Dolphins had followed proper procedures in clearing Tua to return to play after previous head injuries. The NFL Players Association, or NFLPA, launched an investigation into the Dolphins' handling of Tua's injuries, seeking to determine if any violations of the league's concussion protocol had occurred. The investigation, a stark reminder of the high stakes involved and the potential consequences for both the team and the league, highlighted the need for transparency, accountability, and a steadfast commitment to player safety. The league, facing growing public pressure and the very real possibility of lawsuits from former players suffering from the long-term effects of concussions, knew it had to act decisively to address the issue. The future of the sport, its integrity, and its sustainability depended on it. Section 5. The Price of Passion. Tua Tagovailoa's story, though unique in its details, is ultimately a reflection of a larger narrative, a story that has played out countless times on fields and in arenas across the globe. It's a story about the enduring power of the human spirit, the unwavering pursuit of dreams, and the unbreakable bond between teammates. But it's also a story about the fragility of the human body, the risks we take in pursuit of our passions, and the difficult choices we must sometimes make when those passions come at a cost. Tua's journey, regardless of where it leads him next, serves as a powerful reminder of the human cost of sport, the sacrifices athletes make, and the importance of protecting those who entertain and inspire us week after week. Section 1. The Heart of a Warrior. Tua Tagovailoa's story is a testament to the indomitable spirit. It's about the unwavering pursuit of dreams, the resilience of the human body, and the support of a community united by love for the game. From Hawaii to the NFL, Tua's journey has been one of triumph and tribulation, marked by moments of brilliance and the risk of injury. Through it all, Tua has displayed a quiet strength, earning respect from teammates, opponents, and fans alike. Section 2. An Uncertain Future. As Tua recovers from his latest concussion, the question of his future hangs heavy in the air. The decision of whether to continue playing is one that only Tua can make, influenced by doctors, family, and his own doubts. The risk of further injury and long-term health consequences is impossible to ignore. Yet, the allure of competition and camaraderie is powerful. Whatever path Tua chooses, he will have unwavering support. His journey has inspired hope and resilience, and a deep appreciation for the fragility of athletic careers. Section 3. A Legacy Beyond the Game. Tua Tagovailoa's story transcends the realm of sports. It's a story that speaks to the human condition, to our shared vulnerability, our capacity for both greatness and suffering, our unwavering pursuit of purpose and meaning. Tua's legacy, regardless of how many more snaps he takes under center, will be one of courage, perseverance, and a deep love for the game. He has shown us that true strength lies not just in physical prowess, but in the ability to overcome adversity, to face our fears, and to make difficult choices with grace and humility. He has reminded us that the human spirit, though often tested, has the capacity to emerge from even the darkest of times with renewed purpose and a deeper appreciation for the precious gift of life.